Hi readers, it's Lori. Welcome back to my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper, or welcome if this is your first time. And I am so excited. I cannot stand it. Okay, so Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand and Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library do a thing they call Booklist Thursday and have done for years. If you're not a follower of their channel, I can't imagine why, but every Thursday they bring forward some kind of bookish topic or list that's related to books, and they're very delightful. They're usually fairly short, and I watch them every week. A couple of times a year, they do a 5-star prediction round. And not long ago, they started inviting people, other booktubers, to participate in their 5-star prediction rounds. And this was the time that I got picked. And I can't even tell you. Like, I was so excited when they texted me. I can't even. So I've known both of them for a bit of time, kind of off the booktube place, but I don't live near them and anymore. And I don't see, I used to see Sarah now and again. We don't see each other as much anymore. And I've never met Lindsay in person in real life, but I just adore them both. And I know that you're probably already subscribers, but if you're not, Sarah's Nightstand, Lindsay's Little Library, go now. This round of 5-star predictions starts today, March 2nd, when this is posting, and ends on April 27th. So we have a couple of months, full months, 2 months to read these 3 choices of books that we think will be 5 stars. And each round has a different kind of take to it. And this particular take is that we are reading books that we heard about on podcasts. So books that we heard about on podcasts that we think will be 5-star prediction or 5-star reads. And we're predicting that, and we're going to read them from March 2nd to April 27th. Easy peasy. So let's get started on what I have chosen. So this first book is a book I had no intention of ever reading or purchasing. It was a Book of the Month Club selection. I can't remember what month now even. And ironically, it's by an author of a novel that I loved. So this book is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. If you've been on my channel for any length of time, I've more than once mentioned how much I loved The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry, written by this author years ago. It remains one of my top 10 books of all time. I recently thought perhaps I should reread it just to make sure it's still there, and I might do that this year. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, which I'm going to call Tomorrow Cubed because it's too much to say it, is a novel that I just didn't feel excited about. So I skipped it. I did not pick this for that month. And you're probably wondering, so how did you get it then? And the way I got it was that the Book of the Month Club picked this as their 2022 Book of the Year. And when you get a Book of the Year pick free in your membership, and you're a book lover, and you're like, I can't pass up a free book, you get it and you read it, or look at it, not read it, but you look at the synopsis again and you start paying attention to the buzz. And so around this time in December, I started paying attention to the buzz. People were starting to read it. People were starting to talk about it. People were loving it. So I learned then about it because I researched it actually then. I learned about this one on the Nerdette podcast. It was one of the Nerdette Book Club selections. If you're not familiar with their podcast, they're super fun. It's Trisha and Greta. They talked about it, had some guests as well, and they really enjoyed it. Tomorrow Cubed is a story about 2 young people, Sadie and Sam, and they meet again after a period of time, it sounds like, of being estranged and or maybe just drifting apart. I don't want to know too much about this, so I didn't complete the entire Nerdette Book Club podcast because I felt like things were coming forward that I didn't want to know. Having said that, though, a lot of other people have podcasted about this too, so it got a lot of buzz toward the end of 2022. They discover each other again, coming off the subway in New York one day, and I think there's a moment where she thinks, I'm not even going to make eye contact, I'm not going to reconnect, and she does. And they start up a relationship or a friendship again, and they start partnering on something, which is I think a video game. I'm not a big gamer at this stage of my life. I have played video games in my past. I was kind of obsessed with one years ago when my kids were young, but I'm just not that kind of person, but I have read other books about games and enjoyed them. So there's no reason to believe I wouldn't. But I think the premise at first just didn't hit me that way. And then all of a sudden it did. I do think, given the reviews and the podcasts and the other people that I've heard on BookTube that are reading it, that it will be a 5-star prediction. I'm pretty sure. And because I have another 5-star written by her in my heart, I think that this one might work for that as well. I have till the end of April, like I said, to read it. It is a little over 400 pages, more than a little maybe. And no, I think it's right at 400. And yeah, and I also feel like I thought the cover was a little chaotic. I don't know if you feel that way, but I do kind of feel like the cover is a little, I don't know, it's a little much. But again, I don't care. I'm going to read this book, and I'm probably going to give it 5 stars. All right. The next one, I also did not intend to read when I heard about it last year. There's kind of a theme here, I guess, for these first two anyway. This one I didn't want to read because it's probably really, really sad. And it is The 100 Years of Lenny and Margot by Marianne Cronin. And I heard about this on a podcast called the Reading and Writing Podcast. Lenny, who is a young girl, I think she's around 17, and she's on a terminal ward of a hospital in England. And she discovers while she's on this ward that there is kind of an arts and crafts group. And so she decides to go. And she meets Margot, who is much older and who is kind of eccentric and a little out there, and also on the terminal ward. They strike up a friendship, and together their ages make 100 years. And so it's a story of their relationship and their coming together and facing this reality that they are, there's not much more time left. An extraordinary friendship, a lifetime of stories. So I think this will be 5 stars. I think it will be sad and heartbreaking. Marianne Cronin is from England. The book says that this is being adapted into a film. So I'm glad to read the book first. I just really didn't want the sadness. However, with sadness, there is also a lot of other benefit. And I think that this is poignant. I think that it's an important story. I think that it really connects us to the human side of relationship in difficult times and in kind of the measure of our lives, probably. I don't know that much about it. I believe, heartbreaking or not, that Marianne Cronin's 100 Years of Lenny and Margot will be a 5-star read for me. I think Lindsay read it and gave it 5 stars too. And then the third and last one is The Age of Vice by Deepti Kapoor. This was a book of the month selection for January, and I did get it, but I got it really late. It was like a last minute. Okay. And I listened to a podcast on the New Yorker Radio Hour was the podcast. And we were actually in the car going somewhere, Lisa and I, and we heard about this book and we thought about this book and it seemed like a good pick. And so I ended up getting it. It is a chunker. It is over 500 pages, as I recall. And yeah, so I may have to listen to this on audio as well. This follows it sort of starts off with this intense experience of an accident where 5 people are killed, or a car goes off the road, and a young servant in New Delhi, it's set in New Delhi, a young servant named Ajay is driving the car. And Ajay works for a man named Sunny. And Sunny is kind of a reckless guy, and he's involved in some sort of crime, maybe a syndicate, which hits a certain path for me too, because I've been reading mob books since I was in an early high schooler. I remember vividly when that started to happen. And there's another character who's a journalist, and her name is Nita, and she's kind of caught in the middle of some of this, I think, and whether maybe she's in a relationship with Sunny, I'm not sure, maybe with Ajay, but nevertheless, I don't want to know a whole lot about this except that It got a lot of buzz. It sounds like it's right up my street. And Deepti Kapoor really fascinates me in many ways. One, because she's from New Delhi, but she wrote this while she was living somewhere else because she kind of needed to distance herself from that country. I've not read a lot of books set in New Delhi. I don't know, like I said, the crime aspect of it, there was something about the cover that really spoke to me. And it's very simple in many ways, but it really kind of did. It's almost like blood stains a little bit. But if it's a mafia, mob, organized crime related kind of thing, plus this guy, this servant who I think has raised himself up to some degree through the ranks of this relationship with Sunny, and then I'm assuming Nita maybe has a relationship with one of them. Either way, I'm good. No matter what happens, I'm good to give it a try. I think it'll be a 5-star read. We'll see. I may have to get it on audio or ebook just to kind of chunk it at different times in different ways. But one of the things I wanted to focus on too in this was that they all three were different. I did not want to be reading back to back 3 reads that I was anticipating were 5 stars that were all exactly the same. So that's just me. That's just how I roll. Because I can read 2 or 3 books at a time as long as they're not the same genre. So that for me was a benefit of looking at the 3 of these. So there we go. So we have The 100 Years of Lenny and Margot, Tomorrow Cubed, and Age of Vice. Well, I will be reading these from today until the endish of April, and then we'll all of us be reading our 3-star reads at the same basic time, and then we'll come together with a wrap-up video and tell you about how we did and whether or not we gave these 3 reads 5 stars. Let me know if you're reading anything for a 5-star prediction kind of scenario. Let me know what your 5-star predictions are if you want to play with that a little bit, and just kind of think about it. Do you think any of these would be 5-star reads for you? I'm curious about that too. So let me know in the comments below. I always say I may do a vlog. I may not, but I really do want to get serious about these, and I really can't wait to start today. So thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for your comments, your support, your sharing of what you're reading and what you're taking a look at as a result of some of these videos. And thanks again, Sarah and Lindsay. Incredible opportunity. As always, happy reading. Bye.